The Senate did not waste too much time. It screened and confirmed Christopher Musa, of course, the first defense minister from Southern Kaduna, the Southern Senatorial District, which has produced several military eggheads, some of which have risen to become the chief of the Nigerian Army Staff and also the chief of defense staff before General Christopher. Well, if there's one person to be pitied in all this, it is General Christopher Musa, because there's a world of difference between being the defense minister and also being the chief of defense staff, a military position. As minister, of course, the situation will be slightly different. He is not going to be, his words will not be the last as far as that ministry is concerned, even though he is the highest appointee now. But like I said, the situation in the country is so bad that there isn't so much magic that anyone can do. However, General Christopher made some points. There were some takeaways from the hearing in the Senate. Among the takeaways in the confirmation hearing, first, he reiterated the need to ban illegal mining in the country because, as all international and local commentators have pointed out, illegal mining is being used widely around the world to finance terrorism. He also called for the withdrawal of soldiers from routine checkpoints to free forces for targeted operations inside forests and ungoverned spaces. I'll come back to this point because it's a very major point that needs to be reiterated, and it brings hope that some good things might happen. He spoke about restoring safe access to farmers back to their farmlands. He also said something which needs to be emphasized, which many people who are not familiar with military operations in Nigeria, namely that there will be no more indolence and cowardice in the military. He spoke about the establishment of a unified national database and also spoke about the fact that kinetic power accounts only for between 25 to 30% of counterinsurgency. The other areas which he listed quite rightly are the questions that people have raised with various intentions of poverty, illiteracy, poor governance, structures, and the slow system of justice in the country. Now, really, what needs to be done for us to get out of this situation? I dare say that, in my opinion, the Ministry of Defense alone or the military alone will not be able to solve the multifaceted problems facing Nigeria in the security sector. The military, I've said several times before, cannot win this war. This is a new war with new sets of rules, wars that intensified in 1989 around the world when the Berlin Wall fell. We had insurgent groups and even individuals coming up who now had access to weapons. And for the first time in a long time in human history, we started talking about governments declaring war on individuals. The United States declared war on Osama bin Laden. The United States government, with the strongest military in the world, declared war on some non-state actors around the world. And of course, the fact of the matter too is that as the world globalized, so did the globalization of information, as well as what some people call democratization of access to the means of violence. As of today, it's so dangerous that a young person with the appropriate knowledge sitting in his bedroom can create a drone that is lethal, that can fight and destroy places and people. People have started doing that 3D printers to print plastic guns, which they can use. As well, we have people living in one jurisdiction, paying allegiance to governments or individuals or institutions in completely different jurisdictions where they receive commands and instructions from. Now, for Nigeria, we have a situation where insurgents are embedded in the public that the military seeks to protect. Insurgents don't wear uniform. Insurgents cannot be distinguished by the way they appear from any ordinary person on the street. And so you cannot know the person bringing the bomb or the IED to place anywhere. But in a situation in Nigeria today where the tribe and the religion is so important to people, it has not been possible for people to be reporting those who are planning to cause problems around the country. To the extent, you will recall that in the past, people, including the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, who said that Boko Haram were people who are fighting for human rights and the rights of their people. Some people came to Abuja and scolded President Goodluck Jonathan for fighting against them. He said they were their children. And there were some elders in the country who wrote petitions to the International Criminal Court of Justice in The Hague, complaining against Nigerian military officials and even filed petitions against Lieutenant General Hejirika that he was committing war crime, that he was killing civilians because the army was confronting Boko Haram. And in the country, we have a society that celebrates money, a society where you just get the money, how you get it does not matter. This is a society where is increasing. People do not believe in anything. People kidnap themselves and ask their relations to pay. We have siblings as young as 10 years old kidnapping their younger brothers or even burying their younger brothers alive. So these problems have increased the weaknesses that have been demonstrated by the Nigerian government in addressing the security challenges that started emerging several years ago. And they appeared to be overwhelming the Nigerian state itself. And then also worrying is the fact that we have a weak and failing policing and justice system. If you check around some of the indices that have been published by multilateral organizations or even by some data hosting services around the world, Nigerian police has ranked severally as one of the worst police in the world, accused of bribes. Even the Nigerian judiciary has been accused of bribery, and it got published even by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, which said in one of his reports that was pulled down that Nigerian justices were among the people that were collecting the highest bribes in the country. Crime can thrive. A country can simply become a huge crime scene where it is difficult for things to be done right. And because of the weaknesses that have been demonstrated by the Nigerian police over the years, and the fact that people increasingly have not trusted the Nigerian police, the Nigerian military has been playing police roles, setting up roadblocks, doing routine checks that should be done by the police, even being first set of people to appear at riot scenes. Now, this is where the problem gets a little bit trickish. One of the reasons why I said I really pity and urge people to pray for General Musa is the fact that even if the military succeeds in pushing these bandits, these kidnappers, out of certain areas and settlements, those settlements will need police, the presence of police and internal security agencies to come and do what is known in history or in history books as effective occupation. If there is no effective occupation of those areas, those bandits will come back. Another worrying thing about this is the fact that the Nigerian military is doing operations in almost all the states of the federation. Now, the size of the military is smaller than the size of the police. And so when you spread them so thin, it makes that the work that they will do will be ineffective. And one of the reasons why I applaud and urge General Musa to prevail on all the other military forces, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force to pull out their men from routine checkpoints. The participation of the soldiers on roadblocks is not just reducing the number of forces that are needed in the bushes. It is increasing indiscipline in the Nigerian military. In those days, whenever you saw a military man in uniform in your area, you know that a major problem has arisen. Everybody will start running helter-skelter. People will try to correct what they were doing wrong. The long stay of the military on roadblocks has created a situation where the military and people in uniform, especially military uniform, are no longer respected the way they should be respected. Thirdly, their long stay with police on the roads and their long stay with even undocumented civilian operatives on the streets has created a situation where the military men are also doing the same thing that the police are accused of doing. You will see as you drive along the road to military checkpoints, soldiers stretching out their hands to collect money from drivers and people on the road. This is not good, and I have insisted in some of my engagements that there is the urgent need to pull soldiers from this street work. And to be able to allow the police to do this work effectively, there will be the need, like I said recently, for the police to be deconstructed the way the military is deconstructed. Today we have the Navy, we have the Army, we have the Air Force, all operating and acting under the commands of different people. Today, the anti-riot police should have their commander that reports to whoever is in government, different from the police who are engaged in counter-terrorism, or the police who are engaged in financial crime, or the police who are engaged in traffic control. And in addition to deconstructing the police, there will be the need, and there is the urgent need, to increase the population of the police to over a million. This million personnel need to be in every local government. Today, most local government areas do not have up to 50 or 100 policemen, especially the local governments in the rural areas, the local governments that are facing serious challenges of bandits and of ungoverned spaces. My name is Rimamnde Shawulu. This is The Other Side.